On the news, bandits killed 20 Niger community, including village head. Rivers Assembly overrides Fubara, enacts Service Commission law. And INEC meets with security agencies ahead of off-cycle elections. Glad to have you join us on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akinkolye. Now, suspended bandits have killed at least 20% at Madaka community in Rafi local government area of Niger State, including a village head. Approximately 50 residents, along with several commercial properties, were set ablaze with numerous vehicles and motorcycles. Eyewitness reports describe scenes of utter chaos as armed assailants descended upon the village, shooting indiscriminately. A number of villagers were abducted. However, the Niger State government is yet to confirm the incident. Still on security, the head of the Nigerian military and Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has been speaking on recent security challenges in the country, including the killing of 16 soldiers at Okwama community in Delta State and the mass abduction of staff and students at Kuriga community in Kaduna State. Speaking when some lawmakers visited him at the defense headquarters recently, General Musa said security agencies in the country are working to address the security challenges in the country and to bring lasting peace. Our correspondent Chidi Igwe has more on the story.
The month of March has been quite challenging for Nigeria in terms of security. From the mass adoption of school children at Kuriga community in Kaduna to the barbaric killing of 16 soldiers who had gone to maintain peace at Okwama community in Delta State, as well as other kidnappings in Borno and Sokoto states, Nigeria's security have been really stretched. Speaking specifically on the despicable incident at Okwama community in Delta State, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, shed more light on the situation.
These are people they know, and that's why when he heard it, he felt, these are my community, these are people I know. And he went to say, look, this what you are doing is not right. Whatever it is within the community, we can do it, invite the state government, let them come and handle it. It's a state government issue and all these things. And the community said, okay. And as they turned to go, they were rounded up, killed. Not only killed, they were dismembered. Head cut off, stomach open, parts missing. And I don't know what kind of, for a human being to go to that extent to do for people that came on a peaceful means, then there's something that goes beyond that. I know him, the CEO himself, Lieutenant Colonel Ali, of recent, because we have emphasized we want the oil production of Nigeria to increase so that we'll be able to have enough foreign exchange and then things can really go down because we all know the challenges we're going. And so he insisted that all illegal activities within the general area must stop. So he directed all his troops and they were stopping all this illegal bunkering, stopping all these things, and then these are the people benefiting from it. And so when this issue came, I think it came as an opportunity for them to also do away with him.
In Kaduna State, efforts are still on to rescue the kidnapped students, but the military says there are some teething challenges hindering progress.
The challenge we're having is the forest. Over time, our forests have been left open. No forest guards. We used to have forest guards in those days. So now they've taken over this forest, and by the time they enter that forest, some of these forests are bigger than some countries. So it's not a place, once they enter that forest, for you to be able to track them, even with aircraft and what, it's difficult. And those are the things they get advantage. Most times, once, like this Kuriga incident abduction, the abduction was done previously, before the information got to the troops. It takes a lot, they will have already gone. So by the time you get the information, before you react to get there, they are so deep into it. And as you are moving in, the informants are equally telling them. But we are not making excuses. We have a mandate, and I've directed all my commanders that we must get these kids out as quickly as possible.
The brutal killing of soldiers at Okwama community has generated strong condemnations across the country, with a demand for the culprits to be arrested and brought to justice, something the Chief of Defense Staff says will be done.
We know who did it. We are following up on him, and it's just a matter of time. We're sure we're going to get him, because they took away again arms. We must get those arms back. We must get those guys so that they can be prosecuted accordingly.
And we cannot continue to punish innocent people that will get involved. And that's why we want the police to come in. Because if it is police that they went there, the police will investigate, arrest the culprits, and prosecute them. But in the military way, they will go there, burn down everywhere, arrest anybody visible, and even possible, kill other people. So this is why we're saying that the military involvement in internal security is just not right.
As for the Kuriga kidnapping, the military has said it will ensure that the school children are rescued and brought back home safely. But the security experts say more needs to be done to ensure such mass abduction do not happen again.
There was a checkpoint few meters to where the school was, and when the incident happened, suddenly that checkpoint disappeared. Then again, the question would be, was it a failure of intelligence, or that people just didn't act on actionable intelligence, or that we were just deliberately complacent and decided not to act whatsoever?
In response to the random demands made by the bandits for the release of the kidnapped students, President Bola Tinubu has taken a firm stance against negotiating with terrorists. He has also directed efforts towards apprehending those responsible for the soldiers' killings in Delta State.
Now joining me to discuss this further is the former Director of Department of State Services, Mike Ejiofor. Thank you for your time, Mr. Ejiofor. Now, what are your thoughts on the recent security challenges in Nigeria, particularly in regards to the killing in Okwama community in Delta State and the mass abduction in Kuriga community in Kaduna State?
Well, the security situation in Nigeria is quite disturbing, especially with the killing of the army officers and soldiers. Never has it been done before that you just keep not just killing them. No life is worth losing, not just killing them, but dismembering and decapitating their bodies. That is quite unfortunate, brutal, and wicked. And like the chief of staff has said, they are going out, and luckily he says they know the people and they are going after them. Let's pray that they will actually get these people out. On the kidnapping, mass kidnapping in Kaduna, that's quite disturbing too. As you did in your intro, you call that some other people, subsequent kidnappings are taking place, mass kidnapping. And it's really quite disturbing, quite disturbing.
Staff emphasize the importance of security agencies in addressing these challenges. Now, in your opinion, what specific measures should be taken to enhance the capability of these agencies?
There are a lot of things we have to do. First of all, security challenges are local. So we need local solutions. Apart from deploying technology, which the security forces have been using, apart from deploying technologies, we need to get the communities and the citizens involved by community policing, if you like, and that the people should be involved, alert the police. Like you said in your intro, we're not lacking in intelligence. Even before some of these people come, they will give information they are going to attack some communities. But what is the capacity or capability of our enforcement agents in handling this situation? That becomes a problem. They are not well equipped, and like the chief of defense staff said, you have a vast forest that these people operate in. They are taking over the place, and it will be suicidal for the security forces to begin to engage these bandits who are in possession of these victims, because they are now being used as a human shield. So that's another challenge. And I believe that we can also deploy or look for foreign assistance. I remember that the government has said they are looking for foreign assistance. You recall when an American citizen was kidnapped in Niger and brought to Nigeria. They deployed all their resources, technology inclusive, and came to Nigeria, got the person released, and killed about 7 of the bandits. So why don't you look for assistance in terms of foreign technical assistance? If you like, call it mercenaries. You recall that in 2015, before the election, the government then deployed some mercenaries which enabled us to do elections. So I think it is time we looked into such alternatives and options to get solution to this problem, because it's becoming very, very worrisome.
All right, Mr. Ejiofor. Now, General Musa said mentioned various challenges in addressing the security challenges, such as terrorist informants and lack of resources, like he said. Now, from your experience, how can we overcome these challenges and ensure better security outcomes?
Yeah, so that's what I said. Community involvement, citizen participation is very, very key. You don't leave all these things to security agencies alone. If you continue to leave it for them, where the security, what's their number? It comes again to capacity. What's the number of our policemen? Police is the lead agency in maintaining internal security. But what number do they have? In these vast forests, in Niger, for instance, and Kaduna, you can move miles without police stations. You know, division where you even have a police station, the divisional police station, they lack manpower, they have no vehicles, and these people come in large numbers. So if they come in large numbers, are you going to use one vehicle that has no fuel to go and pursue them? And these are people moving with mass like bikes, vehicles, and all this. And these people don't have the capacity to look at them, so that's a challenge. I agree that we have a lot of challenges, like the Chief of Defense Staff said.
Director of Department of State Services, Mike Ejiofor, thank you for speaking with us. Now, the Rivers State House of Assembly has vetoed Governor Siminalayi Fubara to enact the Rivers State House of Assembly Service Commission law. The House took the decision on Friday after convening an impromptu sitting. This makes it the second time the House of Assembly will override the governor to pass a law this year. Now, in January, the lawmakers voted to override the governor and passed 4 bills into law. The House had relied on Section 100, subsection 5, to say that the assent of the governor was not required for the passage into law of the said bill. Now to electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has emphasized the importance of early deployment of security personnel and other resources to ensure smooth governorship election in Edo and Ondo states. During a quarterly interagency consultative committee on election security meeting in Abuja on Friday, INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu highlighted the proactive approach as instrumental in the successful conduct of the previous elections in both states in 2020. Yakubu pointed out that the Edo State governorship election is just 6 months away, with the Ondo State election following closely after, only 2 months after the Edo poll.
It is important to start security preparations early. In particular, the number of personnel and other assets to be deployed to strategic locations should be determined and mobilized early enough. It was this proactive approach that led to the successful conduct of the last governorship election in Edo State on 19th September 2020 and in Ondo State on 10th October 2020. There are no security incidents, materials were deployed promptly, logistics deployed smoothly, polling units opened on time, voters attended to efficiently, and results collated and announced transparently. Let us replicate the successful conduct of the last governorship election.
But I want to particularly commend the Nigerian police for the massive deployment and the fewer incidents of election violence that were recorded during the polls. And I want to assure Nigerians on behalf of my boss that this same feat will be repeated in subsequent elections.
The police and other security agencies are ready to replicate this success story in the coming off-cycle governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states. We have been interfacing with the CPs in the 2 commands. We have identified all the flashpoints, and we have continued to work on the threat profile of the 2 states to ensure that when we deploy, we'll deploy in line with what is required to ensure hitch-free election in the two states.
The Nigerian Navy operating base in Badagry made a notable seizure on Thursday, intercepting and confiscating a substantial quantity of foreign rice and petroleum products. The seized items, comprising hundreds of bags of 50 kg parboiled foreign rice and a significant number of 30-liter jerry cans filled with premium water spirit PMS, were valued at over millions of naira. Handling over the seized contraband to the Nigerian Custom, Lieutenant Commander at the Base Operation Office at Badagry emphasized the Navy's commitment to curbing smuggling activities in the region and nationwide. The seized items were handed over to the Deputy Controller of Customs during the ceremony.
We have a good relationship with the Customs. However, this rice was seized or intercepted by Own Force Patrol Team. And we are not the best sister force to handle this rice. As directed by the Chief of Naval Staff to the FOC Western Naval Command via my commanding officer, Captain B.A. Amakri, that we should hand over this rice to the appropriate authority for further investigation. No arrest, because the moment they saw us, they all flew. Because definitely, if we see them or sight them, we will arrest them. But when they saw us that night, about 23:50 something, they all flew.
Smuggling is really affecting the economy. We all know what we are going through in this country. We know the economic situation of the country. Rice, importation of rice is one of the banned items that is not allowed to be smuggled into the country. And oftentimes we engage the host community. We enlighten them of the danger of smuggling, and that is why when we make this seizure, even when we don't have suspect, we still go further to investigate. We'll definitely investigate, and we'll get back to the Navy. We'll let them know the outcome of our investigation.
Still on the Navy, the force has begun an operation dubbed Exercise Swift Response, deploying 7 ships and 2 helicopters to enhance maritime search and rescue capabilities within Nigerian waters. This deployment also included additional facilities and patrol vessels from the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Rear Admiral Mustafa Hassan, the flag officer commanding of the Western Naval Command, officially launched the operation aboard the Nigerian Navy ship Kaida. The primary objective of Exercise Swift Response is to bolster maritime search and rescue services aimed at minimizing the loss of lives and property at sea.
The Western Naval Command area of responsibility accounts for the heaviest traffic within Nigeria's maritime environment, making shipping accidents sometimes inevitable. This makes it critical for the Nigerian Navy and other maritime stakeholders to provide effective maritime search and rescue services to reduce the loss of human lives and properties due to maritime distress situations. This exercise involves the deployment of suitable naval assets equipped for maritime disaster management operations. The exercise is therefore aimed at contributing to the safety of lives at sea in the Nigerian maritime environment and the Gulf of Guinea by providing prompt and timely response to maritime accidents.
One of the cardinal points in this exercise is to see how exercise ourselves and also carry out the tactics of triangulating the rogue vessels at sea. And one of the consequences of this is it could lead to mishaps of collision at sea or mishaps at sea. And of course, in doing so, we also have to conduct what we call search and rescue operations. And also, aware that the Lagos port is one of the busiest ports within the maritime sector in Nigeria and also the Western Naval Command.
News now will now go on a short break, but coming up, at least 23 soldiers killed in ambush in Niger Republic. Details of the story after this break. Welcome back. Now a quick recap of our headline stories. Suspected bandits have killed at least 20 persons at Madaka community in Rafi local government area of Niger State, including a village head. Approximately 50 residents, along with several commercial properties, were set ablaze with numerous vehicles and motorcycles. We also told you that the Rivers State House of Assembly has ruled against Governor Siminalayi Fubara to enact the Rivers State House of Assembly Service Commission law. The House took the decision on Friday after convening an impromptu sitting. Now, this makes it the second time the Rivers State House of Assembly will override the governor to pass a law this year. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limes World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Let's now join Okpayemi Owosheni for business news. Okpayemi, what's the latest?
Well, Tamilore, the presidency is emphasizing the importance of patronizing made-in-Nigerian products as a key strategy to bolstering the strength of the Naira. Ajuri Ngalali, the special advisor on media and publicity to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, conveyed this message during a press briefing with the State House correspondent on Friday. According to him, more than ever is a critical time for Nigeria's history to rally together in favor of purchasing products manufactured within the country. He said President Tinubu views this as a vital step towards ensuring the sustained strengthening of the Nigerian Naira against other global currencies.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to communicate very clearly to our people that there has never been a more important time in our history to actively agree together that we will patronize and purchase made in Nigeria products across all value chains, across all sectors. There is an intentionality that we must have on this issue, that we want a strong currency. We want the spending power of our people to go up. We want every naira and kobo we earn to be more valuable, not just here, but when we travel abroad. The way to achieve that is by doing just this. In addition to that, His Excellency Mr. President, beyond the appeal to Nigerians to actively and intentionally make that decision every day to patronize made in Nigeria products and services across the board, he is also wanting to ensure that Nigerians fully understand that the momentum that we are now seeing with respect to the strengthening of our currency is not going to slow down. The efforts that Mr. President has put in place with collaboration with other agencies of government, as well as the Central Bank of Nigeria, in dealing decisively with sharp practices on certain cryptocurrency trading platforms, dealing decisively with sharp practices within the parallel market of the foreign exchange ecosystem, that these things are now yielding fruit. What we now will need to see is an active effort on the part of our people.
We'll go on a short break and be back with Stock Market Report. Nigeria's equities market ended the last weekday of trading on a positive note, increasing by 0.25%, with the market cap at 59.18 trillion naira, despite previous losses recorded during this week. Because this week, for the first 3 days of the week, the stock market recorded negative closes. Now, the negative market breadth also ended on a positive note with 34 stocks and 14 stocks. Now, Secure Electronic Technology led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 0 naira 55 kobo per share, followed closely by Julie, which closed at 7 naira 86 kobo per share. Now, at the end of the last weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NGX, a total of 505 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 9,574 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 14 billion were traded. Now, compared with the previous NGX trading day, that's Thursday, March 21st, today's data shows 50% improvement in volume, 53% improvement in turnover, and 9% improvement in deals, which is a fantastic way to end the week. Now, a switch to our select global stock to see how they are doing on the last weekday of trading. Well, it's a similar case for select global equities, as you can see from the slide behind me, as the UK FTSE and Japan's Nikkei maintained a northward movement and ended in the bulls, with the UK FTSE at 0.65% and Japan's Nikkei at 0.18%. But then reverses the case for US Dow Jones, as it maintained a southward movement and ended in the bears at 0.55%. Well, that's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Tamilore, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Okweyemi. Now, on the foreign scene, militants launched an attack on a military unit in the northwestern region of Niger, resulting in the loss of at least 23 soldiers and injuring 17 others, as reported by the Defense Ministry. The assailants, numbering over 100 and armed with motorbikes and vehicles, utilized improvised explosive devices and suicide bombs to ambush the military unit while it was returning from an operation in the insurgency-plagued Tilaberi region. According to the ministry statement, the attack had approximately 30 attackers killed during the clash. Niger finds itself among several West African nations grappling with the persistent threat of Islamist insurgency, which initially emanated from Mali over the past 12 years. And finally, on sports, Malaysia has opted out of hosting the 2026 Commonwealth Games due to concerns over the associated costs, according to the government's announcement made on Friday. Minister Anna Yeo of the Ministry of Youth and Sport conveyed the government's decision in a statement, citing the inability of the offer from the Commonwealth Games Federation (CGF) to fully cover the expenses of organizing such a large-scale sport event. The CGF had extended an offer of £100 million to Malaysia and other potential hosts, despite the Games being just over 2 years away. However, the Malaysian government deemed the offer insufficient, emphasizing its focus on sports development and the welfare of its citizens. And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akinkwole. See you again next time.